Remote villagers appeal for help after Morocco's earthquake destroyed homes. More than 2,800 people died, with the toll expected to rise. More than 2,000 people have been killed, with another 6,000 missing as Libya is hit by catastrophic flooding.
North Korean leader Kim Jong-un arrives in Russia, sparking Western fears about a potential arms deal with Moscow.
The extent of the devastation is becoming apparent as remote villages are reached by the outside world. With many small communities flattened, survivors are either burying their relatives or working to clear debris to recover more bodies. In this mountain village of Imi Ntala, at least 70 people are dead. Friday's earthquake, the strongest in Morocco in more than a century, killed more than 2,800 people. And survivors are demanding help, and quickly.
محقورين احنا وصافي داكشي اللي نقول ما لحقنا حتى واحد بغينا حنا السكنه بغينا فين يسكنوا هاد الناس مساكن اللي بينا داكشي اللي كاين
تيحفروا الناس ديال الدوار والناس اللي الشباب ديال الدوار والناس الكبار والناس اللي جايين من دواور بعاد شي شويه تعاونوا معاهم وتيحفروا غير بالمعدات الادويه.
The UN has been assessing the impact of the disaster on some of the most vulnerable, the children. UNICEF estimates that 100,000 of them have been affected. Like all major earthquakes, aftershocks are likely to continue in the days and weeks ahead, putting children and families at further risk. Morocco's government is under pressure to accept more international aid as rescuers battle with exhaustion. So far, it's accepted help from only 4 countries: Spain, the UK, Qatar and the United Arab Emirates. But the United States, Tunisia, Turkey, Taiwan and France, a former colonial power of Morocco, are some of the nations which are also offering support. At least 2,000 people have been killed and several thousands remain missing after catastrophic floods swept through eastern parts of Libya, say officials. The disaster was triggered by days of torrential rain brought by Storm Daniel. The surging waters overwhelmed flood defences and ageing infrastructure. The city of Derna was among the worst affected areas.
في جنوب درنا السد الأول والثاني اللي على وادي درنا هذه السدود سببت في مياه في وادي درنا داخل المدينة انهارت كل الجسور. الآن 3 جسور انهارت بالكامل داخل المدينة. انتشرت المياه داخل الأحياء وقامت بنقل أحياء بالكامل. الآن تم نقلها إلى البحر وبما فيها من سكان.
Up to 6,000 people are still unaccounted for as rescuers scale up their efforts. The situation's not helped by Libya's internal political chaos, with the country split between 2 rival governments in the east and west.
North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has arrived in Russia, where he's expected to hold a rare meeting with President Vladimir Putin. It's reported he's been accompanied by his top military officials. The visit has sparked Western concerns about a potential arms deal for Moscow's war in Ukraine. It's thought to be Kim's first foreign trip since the COVID-19 pandemic, which had forced the reclusive state to enforce tight borders for more than 3 years to shield its poor healthcare system.
Ukrainian and Russian sources described heavy fighting north of Donetsk airport, which has been a front line since Russian proxy forces took control of part of Donetsk region in 2014. Deputy Defense Minister Hanna Maliar confirmed on Monday that Ukrainian forces liberated part of the village of Opytne. There it is here. The village is lying between Avdiivka and occupied Donetsk, around 3 kilometers north of the Donetsk International Airport, which saw heavy battles when Russian proxy forces attacked the area in 2014 and 2015. According to the Ukrainian head of Avdiivka Civil Military Administration, Vitaly Barabash, Ukrainian forces managed to gain a foothold here. Unofficial Russian accounts acknowledged a withdrawal from the area, meaning Ukrainian forces are drawing close to the Russian-occupied city of Donetsk. The Institute for the Study of War says Russian news bloggers claim that the situation in Opitne is not easy and that the fighting is ongoing in urban areas. Over the last few days, the UK Defence Ministry said as the elements of the Ukrainian armed forces have advanced into the multi-layered main Russian defensive line east of the town of Robotine, here it is highly likely that Russia has redeployed forces from other areas of the front line to replace degraded units around Robotine. These redeployments are likely limiting Russia's ability to carry out offensive operations of its own along the other areas of the front line. The Institute for the Study of War adds the commitment of some of the Russians' military most capable formations for limited counterattacks in this critical sector of the front will likely attrit these formations further.
Passengers and crew of a Russian plane had a lucky escape when it was forced to crash land in a field in Siberia. The Ural Airlines Airbus A320 was on a flight between the Black Sea resort of Sochi and the Siberian city of Omsk when it came down just before 6 a.m. Moscow time. Authorities said the plane had a technical problem and that it landed at a site selected from the air. Officials have opened a criminal investigation on the possible violation of air traffic safety rules. Tens of thousands of Catalans marched through the city of Barcelona to mark La Diada, also known as Catalan National Day. They were demanding independence 6 years after a failed attempt to break away from Spain. The September the 11th rally is the focal point of the wealthy northeast region's separatist movement. This year it comes as Madrid remains in political limbo following an inconclusive national election. Catalan separatist parties hold crucial seats that could help acting Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez continue to govern.
Our single market.
As every year, the President of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, will deliver her State of the European Union speech. On Wednesday, she will explain what has been done during the last year and also highlight the biggest tasks of the upcoming months.
Ursula von der Leyen prepares her to-do list for the final year of the mandate of this European Commission, probably packed with policy proposals and geopolitical statements. Euronews correspondents went on the streets of different EU capitals to see how people feel about the European project, because at the end this is all about citizens.
We asked people on the streets of Athens, Dublin, Rome, Budapest, Madrid, Berlin and Vienna to see what they think the EU should focus on in the coming year.
I think are very important and European Union should focus on. It would be definitely climate change and disinformation or combating the disinformation.
Creo que lo más importante es atender a lo que estamos haciendo mal en el Mediterráneo, lo que estamos dejando morir, que algún día cuando pase el tiempo la historia nos avergonzará.
I would like to see also that the EU maybe work on mobility programs for seniors, to bring seniors in contact across the EU maybe, for like with a cheap train or flight tickets.
Το μεγαλύτερο πρόβλημα είναι η οικονομία. Εμείς γιατί να είμαστε μια πτωχευμένη οικονομία, τι φταίει αν πάρουμε την Ελλάδα, αλλά βλέπω ότι όλη η Ευρώπη περνάει από τις ίδιες καλένδες.
Auf den Menschen, so wie sie alles nächstes Jahr und so fort auf irgendwas konzentrieren sollte. Ich meine, der Mensch hat überhaupt keine Bedeutung mehr.
Miért nem lehet békét kötni, hogy a Ferenc pápa meg az Orbán Viktor szeretné?
I think the European Commission needs to be very proactive on both fronts. I mean, the inflation level is at crisis point, as we both know, and the migration is at even more than crisis point.
Promover cualquier medida que propicie la paz.
Kötelességét kéne teljesítse, hogyha adja, ami jár. Ő nem ad, ő csak vesz. Most is követel, hogy mit tud még 100 millióval vagy mennyivel járuljunk hozzá az Ukrajna támogatásához.
Getting new people to work in Europe, keeping Europe attractive.
Prinzipiell bin ich immer für die Förderung der Forschung, der Bildung, auch Ausbau der öffentlichen Infrastruktur. Ja.
Vorrei un'Europa più indipendente, politicamente più indipendente, più pacifista, d'avanguardia dal punto di vista culturale come lo è sempre stata nella nostra storia.
Thousands of Israeli anti-government protesters rallied outside the Supreme Court on the eve of an historic hearing. Before the court will be a pivotal case against the curbing of the High Court's powers by Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's far-right government. For the first time in Israeli history, the entire 15-judge bench will sit to hear appeals by rights groups and individuals against the first major part of the overhaul, which the government pushed through Parliament in July. Nobel Peace Prize winner Maria Ressa has been acquitted of a tax evasion charge that she claims was a politically motivated action at the behest of former President Rodrigo Duterte. She and her organisation had been fiercely critical of Duterte's violent crackdown on drugs crime, in which thousands of petty criminals in the Philippines were killed. Ressa had previously been cleared of other tax evasion charges. She's also appealing to the Supreme Court against a libel conviction. She hailed the latest ruling as a victory for truth and justice. The American caver trapped underground in Turkey has been hoisted to safety and after treatment on the surface flown to a hospital. 40-year-old Mark Dickey had been trapped underground after suffering from gastrointestinal bleeding on September the 2nd. He was more than 1,000 metres below the surface. His condition improved after he was given a blood transfusion and then strapped to a stretcher and slowly carried out. More than 150 people were involved in the international rescue operation.